Okay, so we will start. So in last class, we have discussed about some introduction about what is data mining and what are the processes of data mining. So all those brief introduction we have given. So let us see once again what is data mining. So data mining, as I told you in our last class, that we are going to extract some useful information. So the process of discovering patterns or the process of extracting some useful information in order to identify different patterns, trends, and data. That is called data mining. So you can see some different data mining definitions given here. So the first definition, it says about the process of finding anomalies, patterns, correlations within large data sets to predict outcomes predict outcomes in the sense, so we are going to predict something based on the observations made. We will be identifying or we will be predicting something. So in our last class, I have given you one example. Say there will be different data sets. So in that, suppose if you have, okay, we shall take your ISR example. So in ISR, what we have done was we are predicting the classes up on level class, right? So D1, document 1, document 2, document 3, document 4, it is given along with the features. Along with the features, some set of documents are given, and we have also it is also given document number 5 with some features and without unlabeled class. So document 1 belongs to class 1, document 2 belongs to class 1, document 3 belongs to class 2. Like this, the first 4 documents, they have given the classes. That means they are all labeled classes. And document 5, we based on the features given and based on the observations which we have seen in document D1 to D4, we are calculating the document number 5. So which class the document number 5 will belong. So that means we are predicting the outcome based on the observations made on document 1 to 4. So that kind of process is also comes under data mining. And also another definition given here is, it is discovering patterns or extracting information. Then in order to do this, we will follow one analysis step. You can say data mining is also analysis step, which means knowledge discovery database. Knowledge discovery database. So in knowledge discovery database, we have certain processes in it. The first one, data cleaning. So we have discussed what is data cleaning. In data cleaning, you are going to remove some inconsistent data. We are going to remove some irrelevant data, or we are going to remove noise data. So noise, irrelevant, all these comes, or repeated data, all this comes under inconsistent data. So in data cleaning, you are going to remove the inconsistent data. In data integration, you are going to combine different sources of data. So data sources may be different. You may have different data sources. So all those data sources you are going to combine into a single data format. Data selection. So data selection, we select only the relevant data. So unwanted data will be removed. Suppose if I want to collect data for a person regarding the age, age of the person and gender of the person. And if you collect other information like address of the person, and also you collect information like phone number, which is irrelevant. So you can remove address of the person and also phone number of the person. So since I will be needing only the this one, only your what are the features which I have said? You will be needing your gender, and for the person you will be needing the gender. So you can remove other unnecessary data, that is data selection. Okay. So name of the person, gender of the person will be selected. So since those are the relevant data, so all the irrelevant data will be removed. Then data transformation. This is a kind of data normalization where when you have large collection of data and when your data values are like huge, so you can do some transformation process. So normally transformation process, this one we do data normalization. So like some big numbers we converted into decimal numbers. That is called decimal scaling, which I have shown you in our last example, last class example. So data transformation, which means you are going to normalize the data. There are certain techniques. So for this data transformation alone, we will do one separate chapter. Then data mining, the same process of extracting the information will be conducted in KDB process. Pattern evaluation will be done since after data mining you have achieved, you have identified, you have extracted different patterns, right? So those patterns will be evaluated. These are the useful patterns, and what kind of pattern is this? Is this a representable data or not, or whether this can be presented in a diagrammatic format. So all those patterns will be evaluated, and finally it will be presented, knowledge presentation. So this data will be presented so that it is in a understandable format by the user, so that the user can understand the format. The user can visualize, or once the user sees the data, the user will easily understand. So the knowledge will be presented so that the user will easily understand the data. So again, you have in this diagram, you can see you identify the data, you prepare the data, then evaluate the data, then presenting this data, and finally, after presenting the data, we can achieve our goal. So if it is a business goal, you can achieve your goal. So all these steps comes under data mining. And some applications where you can see data mining applications. You can use data mining in communication process. You can use in data mining in insurance, where it will help companies to check the price of the product, to check the profit, and also to check new offers are available or not, so that the customers can get the product. So all these things can be done using data mining. So we have data mining can be applied in insurance, and also data mining can be used in education purposes, where we can separate data for different students or for different subjects, and also we can access student data through data mining. Like this, we can also use in manufacturing, we can also use in banking sector, we can also use in retail service providers, e-commerce, supermarkets, crime investigation, and bioinformatics. So these are some areas, and even in banking section, fraud detection also you can use data mining. Okay. So these are some data mining applications, and data mining process, same thing with this diagram. So it is represented in another format. So we have to identify the problem, we have to get the data, we have to process the data, and finally we have to perform the data mining. Okay. Once you perform the data mining, and the important thing is to interpret the model, that is your knowledge presentation, how the data will be presented to the user. This is the same process, okay, the same diagram which I have drawn here. And now data mining process, this is also another presentation where you can see data preparation and data mining. So data mining process includes where, see, in this you can see data cleaning, data selection, data transformation, all this we are representing here in another diagram. Okay, data cleaning will be done, integration will be done. So this, initially you have large collection of data. So in this, from this large collection of data, see the different symbols here. The first symbol is one format of data, or you can say this is one data source, this is another data source, and the third one, the rectangular shape, this is also another data source. We have different data sources. Okay, so we perform cleaning, data cleaning, removing the inconsistent data, then data integration. Data integration means what? Where I told you, these different data sources will be combined into a single data format. Okay. So once you perform these two steps, you have your cleaned data here. So after this, you can perform data selection. So your relevant data can be selected. So from this, after data integration, you can select your data, perform the data transformation, do some normalization here. Then you extract your useful information. Then you present your data to the user. This is also another diagram where it explains about data mining process. So again, a brief explanation is given here, the same explanation which I have already told you. You can just go through by yourself to remove noise and inconsistent data. Multiple data sources may be combined like this. Okay, so these things you just go through by yourself because I have already explained. Then one diagram you can see here for knowledge discovery database process. So data cleaning. So these are your impurities. The round one at the top of your this data. This is your impurities or inconsistent data. So this inconsistent data, after data cleaning, it is removed here. So now you get here a clean data. Then different data integration, data sources integration will be done here, combining of different data sources. Now, data transformation here, you see different numerical data. We see some numerical data here with different formats. Your negative value, your larger value. So all these can be normalized by decimal scaling. So once you perform the decimal scaling, so it all comes under 0 to 1 or negative 1 to 1. If you have negative values, then after normalization, you will have negative 1 to 1. Your data will range from -1 to 1. Then data reduction, so this is explained in your previous class where you have certain number of transactions and certain number of attributes. So you have the 22,000 transactions and you have around 126 attributes. So like how I told, when you collect the data, only the relevant data will be collected, and once you collect, you will collect all. After collecting all, you are going to perform the data selection, right? So in the data selection, you select only the relevant data. So here there may be repeated or redundant data attributes. You may have repeated data attributes, so that data attributes can be removed. For example, this was done like we have discussed about this regarding the employees. in a bank. So when you collect the data, so the address can be repeated. Address 1, address 2, street 1, street 2, like this. You have certain number of addresses where if address 1 can show the particular location or the particular place of the particular employee, then we can remove address 2, address 3. Those attributes can be removed. Okay. And also here, like that, you can remove phone number 1, phone number 2, alternate phone number, like this in attributes we can have. So if phone number 1 is working, then we can just exclude phone number 2. Like that, certain attributes can be removed, and once after reduction, we have around 115 attributes, and around we have 1456 transactions. Okay. So this is a diagrammatic representation about your KDB process. Now we have some data mining issues. So the issues can be occurred when you have user interaction and in mining process, and also issues can be occurred in performances, and we have another issues in diverse data types. So when you have different types of data, you may have some issues when performing data mining. So data mining issues, three main issues are there, which the first one is mining process or mining process and user interaction issues. Another one is performance issues, and the third one is diverse data types issues. So in mining process and user interaction, so here you can just go through your data mining issues can be there while presenting your data to the user. So the data which you have presented, the user may not understand. So this kind of issues can be occurred, and also when there are incomplete data, and when you have say for example in data cleaning process, you are going to remove the noise or you are going to remove the inconsistent data. So you sometimes you may not able to identify which one is an inconsistent data. So when you do not completely understand about the data, so in that time also you may have some issues. And while evaluating the patterns also, the issues can be occurred. Okay, so those things comes under mining methodology and user interaction issues. And in performance also, the performance normally measures about the efficiency of the data, flexibility, scalability of the data. So when this, you may have a low efficiency, or your accuracy may be less, because we are going to predict the outcomes also, right? So when predicting the outcome you achieve may not be up to the outcome result which you have wanted. So your your efficiency may be less, your accuracy may be less, like that. This comes under performance issues. And diverse data types, as I told you, handling different data types. So when you have, because this data mining process handles all kinds of data. It can be numerical data, it can be any kind of data like text data, documents data, and you can have multiple types of other format data. So sometimes you may have complex data types also. So while handling all these different types of data, you may find some difficulties, you may find some issues. So that is uh, one of the issues of data mining. Then these are normally the brief introduction about data mining. But what we are going to study is big data. Okay, big data. Big data is what we are going to study, because our book which we are going to study is predictive data mining. Predictive data mining is nothing but study about the big data. So using the big data, we will be predicting certain outcomes. So that is what we are going to study. So now let us see what is big data. Big data, here also, big data and data mining are different. This point is important. Okay, big data and data mining is different. Data mining is usually the technique. Okay, data mining is usually the technique where you are going to extract the useful information. One of the techniques, right? And in big data, it is nothing but this is your large collection of data. Big data is very large collection of data. So big data is a field that treats ways to analyze systematically, extract information from, or otherwise deal with data sets that are too large or complex to be dealt with by traditional data processing application software. So big data, where it deals with large data sets, where it deals with a complex data. So here you can see the difference. Data mining and big data both use large data sets to handle the data. So this requires both large collection of data, but big data refers to a collection of large data sets, while data mining refers to the activity of going through the large data sets so that we can extract some useful information out of the large data sets. Okay, so this is the difference. Big data, once again, I'm telling you, big data is nothing but it's a collection of large data sets, whereas data mining is the activity or the technique for going through into the large data set so that we extract some useful information out of it. Okay, so that is big data. So some differences are there. You can just go through by yourself. Big data, large amount of data, data mining, extracting data from the large collection of data. So this is a difference. You can just go through. Then predictive data mining. So what is predictive data mining? So predictive data mining is also similar to data mining, but this kind of data mining, we normally use this data to forecast or predict some outcomes. We use this data to predict or forecast some outcomes so that we learn decision criteria for assigning labels to unlabeled classes. So this is what I already told you before. So based on some observation, based on some historical data, we are going to assign labels to an unlabeled class. Okay. Based on some observations earlier met or based on some historical data, we are going to assign labels to unlabeled classes. So this is predictive data mining. That's why we name as predictive. Clear? Now, predictive data mining, it involves extracting the data from existing data sets. Okay, you are going to extract features or attributes from the existing data so that we can identify new patterns and trends to assign labels to an unlabeled class. Okay. So definition, the same definition only. The definition, it describes what happened in future with the help of past data analysis. That's what I told you. With historical data analysis, we can predict something. We can predict something, some outcomes of a new data. So there are some disadvantages or there are some challenges for big data. So it is difficult to fetch data from a data warehouse and using the traditional tools. Okay, so it is difficult to fetch large data from a large data sets by using traditional tools, and also it is difficult for data storage and analysis, because data storage, why it is difficult, big data deals a large collection of data, okay, a very large collection of data. So managing this data storage will be obviously difficult, since it is, you may have the large storage capacity, otherwise you cannot store the data. So it requires massive capacity to store and process the data. Since it requires massive capacity to store and process the data storage and analysis for big data will be difficult. And data sharing also it will be difficult, because uh, since it deals with large collection of data, data sharing may be difficult. Okay. Visualization here also, visualization can be in a static visualization or dynamic visualization. So static, the visualization can be sometimes okay, but dynamic form it may be very difficult, because using the traditional tools and techniques we cannot perform data visualization for a dynamic data use with for this big data. Big data, since it deals with large collection of data sets, your data visualization may be difficult, because in visualization process you may have your data in static form and you may have your data in dynamic form. So this is one of the challenges. And also privacy. Privacy, you may have issues in privacy. Okay, because when implementing, you can see here big data security, it is important that privacy concerns are respected while still permitting data uses and analytics to continue. So in order to extract your information, you may have some difficulties here, since it is a large collection of data. Providing privacy of just information will be difficult. So these are some the big data challenges. So you can also go through once. And now let us see. I have been telling you prediction, right? Predicting the outcomes, predicting the outcomes. So let us see how we are going to predict the outcomes. So as I told you, in prediction process, data prediction, we will be referring some historical data, or we will be referring on the observations made earlier. So you can see here temperature, humidity, wind, and play golf. So considering play golf is your class, that means whether you can play golf or you cannot play golf. So considering this as your class, and temperature, humidity, wind, these are the features. Let us these are the observations made earlier. When the temperature is hot and the humidity is high with a wind weak, then you cannot play golf. Second observation already made is when you have mild temperature, high humidity, weak wind, you cannot play golf. And the third observation made earlier is when you have cool temperature, normal humidity, weak wind, you can play golf. Even though when you have weak wind, you have your humidity is normal, your temperature is cool. So you can play golf. And the third condition is fourth condition is when you have mild temperature, normal humidity, and strong wind, you can play golf. So these are the four observations made earlier. Now your prediction is, we are giving some outlook along with your temperature, humidity, and wind. Then, based on these observations, you are going to predict whether to play the golf or not. So, you have a sunny day with temperatures 45 degree and with your humidity is 65 and wind is weak. Okay, temperature 45 is normally hot and humidity 65% is high humidity, we consider as high humidity, and wind weak. Okay, then here in the observation it is snow. So based on this observation we can conclude that this particular sunny day along with these features we cannot play golf. So this is the prediction made based on this observation given here. The next condition also, it is a sunny day, temperature is around 27 degrees Celsius, then 27 degrees, then relative humidity is around 35, then the wind is strong. So our temperature is mild, our humidity is normal, our wind is strong, then we can play golf. Yes. So, yes. The second prediction we made is yes, based on this observations made here. And third, it is a rainy day and the temperature is about 15 degrees and the humidity is about 30%. Then the wind is strong. So here we check temperature will be cool. 15 degrees normally a cool temperature and humidity 30 is normal humidity. Here wind is strong, but here in the observation made earlier, wind is weak. So from this wind is weak, the conclusion they make here in the observation is yes, to play golf. But here our wind is strong. So these two condition matches, this condition does not matches. So we cannot play golf. And lastly, in cloudy, temperature is cool, humidity is high, and wind is weak. Wind is weak. So this condition does not matches any conditions in the observations made here because temperature 18 degrees cool temperature, humidity is high, then wind is weak. Wind is weak. So this we cannot play golf. Okay. So like this, based on this observation, we find some conclusions here. Based on, this is just an example, okay? This is just an example. The numbers given here are randomly given. This is an example. What I'm trying to say here is, based on this observation, we made some conclusion here. So this conclusion is nothing but the prediction process. So we predict our outcome based on the observation made earlier, or this is also known as historical data. Based on the historical data, we perform some prediction process. So all this process is known as predictive data mining. Okay. Okay, so this data warehouse, I think we will do tomorrow. Okay, data warehouse. Up to this we have done. So data warehouse model, transactional database, what is operational database, and what are the tasks of predictive data mining. These things we will do in our next class. So let me take a roll call. 1 second. number 1